Hey, Bill here with 30 Minute Woodshop. Thanks for joining. All right, today I want to show you how to build a plane gallery. All right, this is one component of a plane till that I'm making. So what we have behind here is kind of a hanging, standing tool cabinet, kind of based on some stuff that I've seen in fine woodworking and those kind of things, plus some things that I've put in myself, with some input from guys from Lumberjocks and a few places like that, Woodworking Talk, some feedback from those guys. But you can see here I got a couple of double doors. And the intent is we're going to have saws and things here, marking tools, chisels, whatnot. And as you open this up, see them on this side. And you can see my planes, all right? So I need a place to put these planes, and I'm going to put up a plane till so the planes can sit up here, and underneath I'm going to have a secondary plane gallery for all the small planes that I have. All right, so let's go take a look at the materials. All right, now I have my materials. This isn't all my materials, but I got to build the plane gallery first. All right, now like always, you can find drawings or sketches, not drawings, all right, these are sketches, dimension sketches here, 30minutewoodshop.com. All right, you can find a dimension sketch for this plane gallery, along with later on the actual plane till and the assembly. Okay, very easy to do. You could actually, this is a standalone piece. You could actually build this and hang it or stand it someplace. It should be a standalone piece for you if you don't have a hanging cabinet like I have back here. All right, and you can do all kinds of things with it. All right, now. The materials I have, I'm using this hickory, okay? These have to be leftover pieces from some cutting boards I was building up, okay? And they happen to be, I don't know how this happened, but they're almost exactly what I need. So in terms of width, length, I got to adjust a little bit, but I do need to run them through the planer. All I'm going to do here, literally just to make these things the same, is I'm going to run them through the table saw and just do a quick skim on the edges just to make them exactly the same thickness. And they're pretty darn close as it is. Just a little, yeah, they're just a little bit off. And by the way, if you feel things with your fingers, you can feel like 3/1000ths of an inch. This is more than 3/1000ths of an inch though. But yeah, so I'm going to run them through, make them exact. Don't be all set. This is going to be the ends. So basically, top, bottom. I'll cut 3 pieces out to make the end pieces and the drawer till. So let's get busy. Okay, as always, make sure you use read and follow the safety directions. Use hearing protection anytime using heavy power tools. And all I'm doing here, literally, is I'm taking off less than half, about a third of a tooth. I'm just going to skim this edge, get rid of some of this burn marks here from previous sawing, and make this identical to the second piece. Let's make some noise. Let's start with, anytime using power tools, make sure you read and follow all the safety directions. Hearing protection is always a must, as is a set of safety glasses. You don't want to be 80 years old or 85 years old or 90 and can't hear and can't see, whatever. So make sure you follow the safety directions. Don't want to be walking around calling you Stumpy. All right? Now, great thing about having a dimension sketch is I know what my dimensions have to be. I don't have to go measuring, and it's not like something I'm kind of putting together on the fly. So I'll be honest with you, I really like using SketchUp. It's easy to use, and I get a lot of mileage out of it. So now we got to cut the top and the bottom, okay, and then my 3 sides. What I have here is my top and bottom is going to be 9 1/4 by 23. My sides are going to be 9 1/4 by 5 1/4. So I need 3 sides and top and a bottom. Let's start making some noise. All my pieces are cut Now what I want to do is I want to cut this arc out of the top. And to do that, I'm just using this bow. It's a thin piece of wood that I've strung literally like a bow. And I put a couple marks here to where I want the bow to be, and just bent it till it pretty much hit everything that I wanted. I've marked out my end points and my top point, and there we go. Now the only problem with a bow, right? This is basically the bow. The only problem with the bow is it's not always, because of grain strength, it's not always in a perfect circle, perfect arc. So you kind of have to watch that and move it around to where the arc is best. But super easy way to do it. Now let's get ready to do some cutting. All right, test fitting the planes, looking pretty good. Now, in the sketch that I provide in my website, 30minutewoodshop.com, note that there's no dividers showing, and that's because you're going to have to set that up based on your tools. So I'm just setting my tools in here. I've got them spaced appropriately so I can get my dividers put in with about 3/8 of an inch clearance between them once the divider's in, and we're good. So I got to set that up. I'm going to do a little bit of molding around this top edge. I think I'll do an OG or something like that. And then I have to do the drawers over on the left side. Let's keep working. We're ready to make some dados for the plane gallery. Now, a couple things. Just so you know the difference between a dado, a groove, and a rabbet, okay? A rabbet will be basically a trench right here or a cutout out of the corner. Okay, that's a rabbet. And it can go with the grain or across the grain. A dado is basically a trench that goes across the grain, and a groove is a trench that goes with the grain. Kind of a niggling little detail, but you know, if you're going to use this kind of stuff, you want to use the right terminology. That way people aren't confused. So I'm putting in dados for the dividers for the plane gallery. Well, I've got this thing test fitted, all right? Clamped in place so nothing moves around too much. I've cut a series of dividers out here in cardboard. I've created some curves here using French curves. These are great tools. I'll tell you what, if you don't have a set, I'll put a link in the bottom. You should be getting one. Absolutely great. So I've got these curves laid out. I'll probably even use these as templates when I actually make the panels that go in here, the dividers. But you can see all my planes fit perfectly in here. I think we're doing pretty good. The only thing I got to do now is make the panels, then get them cut up and put together. I also have to cut some dados in here so I can make my little drawers. And I was going to have like 4 drawers. I think I might cut that back to 3. So we'll see. Let's keep working. Well, it's coming together really nicely. I've got the carcass all done. I basically screwed it together with Kreg screws. So I basically screwed top and bottom together here, and on this side, cut all my slots. See, I've cut all my panels. This is pretty straightforward. All I did is use a French curve in here, and then took it over to the bandsaw and trimmed these things out. And you can see they slide in really nicely. So I can just basically, if I want to change something, I can pull those out and use something wider if I want. Though this is set for a specific set of planes, and you can kind of see those here. And there we go. All those planes are all set. Everything's looking good. I have to say, pretty happy with it. So right now, I got to work on the drawers, and all these are. This is just a plywood panel. I'm going to basically stick a little box on top of this, and then put a face on it. Call it good. That'll give me enough room to put in things like the other pieces that go to the 78. Along with some other plain blades and those kind of things I have laying around. So, hey, let's get the boxes finished up and go from finish on this. Okay, things are going up pretty well with this. Now we're ready to work on the drawers. The drawers are nothing more than a little box. All I've done is put a rabbet, these two pieces, the end pieces. Put a couple of sides in here. And I got a little box. And the little box is just going to sit on a piece of plywood here. So I've got this one heading toward being done. You can see I have the box, piece of plywood. I'm just going to glue this stuff together. I'm not using nails or anything. This isn't meant to hold a lot of weight. Even though I load it up with plain parts, it's not going to be much. So I'm going to center this on the piece of plywood, glue it, hold it down for a couple hours, and then once it's dried, I'll be good to go. This one I'll finish gluing up, and then once those things are done, I'll end up putting a face piece on these, and they'll just slide right in. So, easy as pie, all right? And you can see I already have all the gallery is finished here. Now, these are just set in here. They're not glued or anything. In case I want to pull one out and make it a little wider or whatever, change it a little bit. But let's keep working on the boxes. Okay, all I'm going to do now, I'm throwing some boiled linseed oil on this. There's not a lot of handling going on, so one coat should be more than enough. Let's get to it. And there we go. It's looking pretty darn good. Now we'll let it dry up and do a few finishing touches and do the installation. I love it when a project comes together. And while the project didn't come together fast, so it's not a 30-minute project, it did turn out exactly the way I wanted it. I'm really, really impressed with the look of this hickory after it got the boiled linseed oil on it. What I did here on the drawers, all I did is just glue a piece of mahogany, Swetino mahogany on here. This is salvage from some piece of furniture that I picked up, alongside the road. People are always I'll tell you this, people are always getting rid of old furniture. It pays to go through and pick some of that stuff up, especially if it looks really old, because most of the time it'll be like Cuban or Honduran mahogany, and you can't really get that stuff much anymore. It's a protected species, but boy, I tell you what, this stuff looks a lot different than the mahogany you get from Africa. Okay, but anyway, so all I did is take a couple pieces, I just glued it on the front, and then I'll put some type of a drawer pull. I haven't decided what. I have a couple small ones, these ceramic and brass things here, but I'm not really certain if that's what I want to put on there. We'll see. That's a thing for another day. But you can see it in place here. You can see it in place here. All I have to do now is put a couple screws in the bottom and the sides to hold it together. Okay, and then I've already started on my plane till up here, but that's a story for another day. Now, like always, you can get a set of sketches, dimension sketches, at my website here. Go to 30minutewoodshop.com, easy to find. And I'll say this, if you got something out of this, do me a favor, hit like and subscribe, folks, and until next time, good making.